what can we do? We can have the ABC charts in the classrooms, and we can implement the Ziggurat model to take the place of our student support plan. So the Ziggurat model offers a comprehensive approach to addressing the needs of students with ASD by focusing on underlying issues rather than just surface level behaviors. The Ziggurat model has 5 tiers, and it starts with addressing the sensory and biological interventions, then moves on to reinforcement, structure and tactile supports, task demands, and finally skills to teach. So by implementing this tiered support system, we can ensure that interventions are targeted and effective. The model emphasizes a proactive approach and strategies that address the sensory needs, communication challenges, and social skills developments. It will build on our foundation of collaborative support and decision making. And by using the Ziggurat model, we could effectively plan our supports with our parents, our co-teachers, and our learning support team. Something I mentioned before was that the Ziggurat model looks at going below the surface instead of just being the the surface behaviors. Something else that's a part of that is what's called the hidden curriculum, and the hidden curriculum is the kind of the part of schooling or part of learning that we don't teach, or it's just kind of things that we learn because of our experiences, and that students with ASD they don't let's say pick up on those experiences, or don't have those same experiences or those same learning experiences. The hidden curriculum addresses these kinds of needs, and part of the Ziggurat model would include having aspects of the hidden curriculum within it. So for people that are uninformed on that would be something like knowing that when you're in the classroom and students are working, we shouldn't go and bother them. Or another one would be that when the bell rings, that means it's time to tuck in our chairs and go on recess. So these things would be for a neurotypical student. This would be part of the learning experience that you would get all the time. You would learn this over and over again. But for a student with ASD, they might not. So how can, moving forward with the Ziggurat model, in our school, what are some evidence-based practices that we could use, start to be using right away? So some tools from this toolkit, if you will, are evidence-based practices. And the first one that we're going to be looking at is the social stories. Again, everything that's highlighted in blue, those are all links to modules that would give more information, or resources that give more information about our evidence-based practices. The first one that we're looking at is social stories, and social stories are an EBP that was developed by Carol Gray to help students with ASD understand social norms and expectations. These narratives prepare learners for various situations, like transitioning from recess to class, by providing clear and predictable guidelines. Using social stories, it reduces anxiety and promotes smoother transitions and enhancing daily classroom experiences. An example is this one here was one that I made for my master's class, and this is all about how to know when it's okay to share your interests. My learner has an intense interest in drawing, and he's on. We use a visual support in our classroom, and what we do is he's able to follow a strategy of 10 minutes of work and 10 minutes of drawing. And so usually, so we can say with a social story is, for this one, he's allowed to draw for 10 minutes, and usually as soon as he finishes, he's excited and he wants to show somebody, that he wants to show the teacher or he wants to show his classmates. And so for this social story, I created it so that he would be able to identify how he feels when he's finished the drawing, and the confusion he feels when no one wants to interact with him, and the hurt that he feels when the other students are upset that he's come and bothered them when they're working on something, or when they're engaged in a lesson. And once I learned about the social stories and put this one and did this one with him, and we review it pretty much daily, he no longer has these hurt feelings, and he knows now to look at the students and say, okay, they're busy, I can't go bother them. And the social story continues on. I made it in the form of a comic book because at 9 years old, students are very interested in comics. And it has things like a warning, and he's got to look at different kinds of faces. Those faces are going to make him feel bad if he goes and interacts with them. We look at choices. Choose a friend who's busy. Choose a friend who's not busy. Choose a friend who's or wait for everyone to finish, and then when you're done, make a good choice. And then the comic illustrates, how do you feel when this happens? So the social story is a great evidence-based practice, or a great intervention to help build social skills, to help the students kind of navigate those social experiences in the classroom or in life, because I've got to pause here. To help the students navigate social experiences. I was able to take these and use them with my whole class, and my students found success with these. We used them to illustrate our essential agreements, and my students made their own about, let's say, lining up and what's expected, and how you feel when people are talking, or how you feel when afterwards when everyone has done something successful. In an IB school, students are encouraged to be as participative as possible, and sometimes they forget to raise their hands, and it can get a little chaotic. So another one of my students wrote one, and it's called "We Will Raise Our Hands," and it illustrates the teacher exploding because there's just too many teacher. And then at the end, how does it end? With someone feeling good. So these social stories are not just for children with ASD. They can be used with everybody. And I have found great success with these. I display several of these daily on a projector, and it has helped to and they all help my learner with ASD, but it has helped everyone kind of navigate the social aspects, or navigate the experiences within the classroom. Another evidence-based practice that you can use in your classroom is the video modeling. Video modeling involves showing students videos of desired behaviors before they engage in them. the videos are created by the teacher, and they can be the teacher themselves modeling the desired behavior, and going through the steps of that behavior. So by breaking it down kind of in a task analysis or chunking it. So step 1, this is what I need to do. Step 2, this is what I need to do. And one of the things that I've found very influential in these videos is that when it's the teacher saying what they're doing, the teacher is the one saying, okay, step 1, I need to do this, and using these simple sentences that are easy to repeat. Another form of video modeling would involve peer modeling. So that is when the teacher trains a student from the class to be the model, and that student would then go through those same motions. And if you have a particular student that is maybe a little more outgoing, they themselves could also have a script and could go through the scripted motions, and also have a script for themselves to talk about the steps of what they are, the duty they're performing. And then a third option would be to have your learner with ASD to see themselves performing that same scripted behavior, having them go through and using maybe I can statements or I need statements, showing themselves performing those steps, so that when it comes time to perform that actual activity later on, then they know how to do it. The nice thing about these videos is they're short and they can be played in the classroom on an iPad or a phone. And the learner just needs to take a look, remember what to do, and then, okay, now it's your turn essentially to go and try. There are the other benefits to this. As I said, there's the repetition of it, and it's a great form of visual learning, and it also increases engagement for the learner.